Hey y'all, I'm Allison Asarch from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Sean Fraser from the Ritzy Kids.
Hunters, this is Johnny from Rail Motor.
Hey, it's Shane from Blind Season.
Hey, it's Rob Stanier, and you can check out my music on all the streaming platforms.
Check out my latest music on all the streaming sites.
Check out my debut album on all streaming platforms.
Check out our new debut album.
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. And you're listening to our friends, Braggy and Curly.
And my favorite bands from Australia.
My two favourite podcasts is
Braggy and Curly.
Braggy and Curly.
On the
Unfiltered and Undiscovered Podcast.
And Rossi.
Hey there, everyone. It's Curly here, and welcome to episode 195 of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. Let's get straight into it tonight. Let's have a chat. We haven't seen our co-host for the last 2 weeks, ever since that little thing called State of Origin disrupted the two states. But we've got Braggy in Adelaide and we've got Rossi in Sydney. How are you, boys?
Excellent.
I'm out of witness protection.
Poor Rossi.
So Rossi, there was a big game Saturday. Chooks played the Dragons. The Chooks got the chocolate. So well done on that.
All's right with the world.
Yeah, but Wednesday night was not a good night for you.
Look, I've had better nights. I didn't enjoy it that much. I'm just sitting there. Look, when Queensland went up 2-0, 8-0, 14-0, I've just gone, fucking hell, here we go again. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Ashley Klein's arm just goes one way, and it's like, yeah, it's over.
Oh, that's it. Blame the ref. Just don't blame the fact that you
New South Wales. The Blues were in it up until the national anthem.
That's right. They played. It was Queensland. Queensland did what they did because it means so much more to them because they've got nothing else going on.
It was set up for us. It was set up for us.
It was because they didn't win a game for 40 years until we set up that concept.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Cling to that, Rossi.
Yeah, absolutely. The old 7-3 in the interstate game. That must have been so much fun. So, Braggy, what's been happening down Adelaide way?
Not much. I haven't got really any music news. I really enjoyed the cricket the other morning.
All out for what?
27? Yeah, that was pretty.
Sounds like an under-12s game.
Yeah, I had many. Well, Stark's figures sound like under 12s game. I think I had a few like that. And we're up to episode 195, Curly. So we're approaching the double century, like Jason Gillespie against Bangladesh. So I don't know if it's a worthy double, but anyway.
Yeah. It's a worthy double. I do have an idea for that, but we'll talk about that at a later date. Beautiful. And Rossi, what was happening in Sydney? I hear it was King Street. Is that in Newtown?
Yeah, the King Street Crawl was on Sunday. They had like 160 bands play up and down all the venues in King Street and Enmore. It was massive. It's run by a mob called the Music and Booze Company, who are promoters in Sydney. Our guys Pocket Watch played on the old Newtown Town Hall, which is called the Inner West Pride Centre. They supported a young girl from Brisbane who is like the Triple J Unearthed High ambassador, a girl called Ixaris, and she was sensational.
Awesome.
Little Philippine girl. She's 18-year-old Philippine girl with a rock band, and they were out of the box incredible. I love to see a good band. Good band full of Queenslanders. You know, I've got a soft spot for Queenslanders deep in my heart. They were really, really good. Our boys were great too, but it was like, there was a lot of girls screaming, I tell you. Boy, was there a lot of girls screaming.
I saw that footage you put up of Pocket Watch. Yeah, they were going off, eh?
It was going off. That was great fun. The other thing I've been watching a bit, I've been doing a bit of a retrospective on the late and great Mick Ralphs, the guitar player from Bad Company who passed away. And he also had a Mott the Hoople and, like a big, that whole Bowie, Mick Ronson, Ian Hunter, Paul Rogers. Like Mick Ralphs was probably, by all reports, the most humble out of all the guitar players out of that scene,
Yeah.
And like you listen to Bad Company, man, don't you love that? Some of that
man,
stuff.
I forget the name of the bass player, but very underrated bass player in Bad Company.
Yeah, Bad Company are a great band,
and not to mention Paul Rogers.
Yeah, Paul Rogers and Simon Kirk, who is with Paul Rogers in Free as well. Like, great bands, great. But yeah,
Cool.
so listening to a lot of that sort of stuff because Mick Ralph's is like, I just sort of go on these jags occasionally,
Yeah. Down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
the big news from me is that I did the voting in Triple J's hottest 100 of Australian songs.
Okay.
And
How many Died Pretty songs?
oh, mate, it was such a challenge to do, seriously. But I'll just run them through while we're here. Died Pretty. Everybody moves. Hard on
good call.
surfing on my face.
Yeah.
Hoodoo Gurus like Wow, Wipe Out.
Yeah.
Hunters and Collectors, Throw Your Arms Around Me.
Yep.
Paul Kelly, To Adore. The Stems, At First Sight.
Yeah.
Radio Birdman, Aloha, Stephen Dano.
Right.
Screaming Tribesman. I had to put the Tribesman in, but I'm kicking myself. I didn't put Igloo, but I went Date with the Vampire.
Yeah.
The Boys, When You're Lonely. That's
Lonely,
my
yeah.
ode to I'll take the hat off to Braggy.
Thank you.
And Hoodoo Gurus, I Want You Back. So that was
Well,
my top 10.
You did slightly move out of 1986, Curly. So
Yeah, I think Birdmen were the 70s. So
But I just want to make the point that the Hard-Ons are the second best band to ever come out of Punch Bowl.
okay, fair enough.
All righty, so let's introduce our special guest who's been very patient down there. He's toured Australia with Jimmy Barnes twice, shared stages with international icons like Dion Warwick and Glattus Knight, hit number 1 on the ARIA Country Albums chart with his debut record, Troubadour. He sold out headline shows right across the country. Please welcome Taylor Sheridan. How are you, Taylor?
Good, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Very
With a
well.
CV like that, why would he talk to us?
Yeah. Look, Taylor, we really don't know what we're doing, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I like to kick off with for our listeners to find out about, for you, where music, when, where, and how music became a thing for you. 2-part question though, and also want to know, what was the first album you bought? After you tell us when music first was a thing in your life.
The first album, I'll go with this first. So I grew up in a small country town in Kyneton in Victoria, which there was not any music around. Like, that was not a thing. You were either good at sports or you were kind of good at drinking. So I was too young to be drinking, so I tried to be good at sports. I had a twin brother who was much better than me, so I tried to find something that I could find that was my own.
Right.
I was watching, I know exactly where I was. I was watching TV, it was daytime TV, and the 30th anniversary of Michael Jackson being a solo artist was on the screen, and it was him playing with his brothers at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
I had no idea who it was. I said to my dad, I was like, who is this? And he just sort of brushed me off and was like, oh, Michael Jackson or the Jackson. I don't know. I went, oh, okay. Didn't think anything of it and watched this thing. And I was enamored by it very quickly. So I got my VHS out. I taped the rest of it. And I watched that repeatedly for probably 2 years.
That's a good start, mate.
Yeah, man, I agree.
I was just floored. I was absolutely floored by it. And from there, I guess I started to find my voice a little bit more. I was still young, so I could hit those notes. And then I think, like with anything, you start looking, or it finds you, music like that. And then I started getting into Stevie Wonder and started getting into Marvin Gaye and Otis Redding and Ray Charles, really young. These are the people that I was listening to young. So that was my introduction to music, and it kind of hit me like a lightning bolt and hasn't really left.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
You
it's
say,
funny.
Steve, sorry.
All
you
those
go.
soul guys. Sorry, just think about all those soul guys. I was listening to an interview the other day with Paul Stanley, and he says exactly the same, almost the same CV as you. Like, he was listening to Marvin Gaye and the Four Tops and Temptation Supremes, all that stuff. So
It's interesting. And the good thing about it, when you're a kid, you don't know what's in fashion and you don't know what other people are listening to. You just listen to what you like, and there's no reason or rhyme for it. So for me, like that soul music was really what kicked it off. And I didn't really know what even contemporary music was until sort of much later. And then, you sort of diversify. But yeah, that early stuff is, I listen to that now and it's my childhood, really.
Well, it's that soul influence answers a few of my questions that I'm going to have about.
It doesn't come as a surprise, does it,
Yeah,
Brendan?
no. I kind of had that figured. Yeah, off a few songs there, but we'll get to that later. So, what about your first album?
My first album that I
Troubadour.
bought, I reckon, was the first album I bought. I think it was The Boys Light Up, Stray and Crawl.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
really?
I've got that album.
Yeah. So, and I don't know if I bought it or if it was bought for me, but I always know that was like the first in my CD collection.
Yeah.
And I've still got, all my CDs and, because those things are, they're as nostalgic as anything I own. So that was probably the first. I think I saw Australian Crawl or even James Rain play on the Footy Show. And then I think the next day, my mum was just like, "All right, let's go and buy it." And that's how that came about.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Curly.
Yeah, so you've been doing like a fair bit. We're quite blown away by the CV. So you've toured with Jimmy twice. I'm interested to what was that experience like?
Well, I guess in a broad sense, it was amazing. It was one of those life-changing things where someone that you think is kind of otherworldly, and then you get to spend quality time with them and be in that environment. It's a real blessing because as a kid, you think about these people as kind of, they're legends and what they've done is sacred and
It's unattainable.
And, it's unattainable. It feels like especially with Jimmy, it feels like those songs have always existed, and it feels like he's always existed. So when I got the chance to meet Jimmy and just kind of perform with him, the first night I met him, I was on stage with him, which was like, you talk about nerves, like that's about as nervous as it gets, and he was just so graceful and beautiful and humble and everything that you want him to be. And I said to someone the other day, like, don't meet your heroes unless your hero is Jimmy Barnes.
Yeah. So you opened for him, and he would get up and sing a couple of songs with you, or you would get up when he was on, or
Yeah. So we opened. So first time, I can't remember what year it was. It might have been. I'm going to go with 23, and his wife Jane was doing a little tour called the Jane Barnes Band.
yes,
And I know Jimmy's kids quite well, especially his eldest, Mahalia.
yeah.
And she called me and she said, "Look, would you like to open for Mum and Dad?" And I was like, "Yes, I would love to open for your Mum and Dad." And I'd opened for Mahalia a bunch of times, and we're great mates and from way back. But so I flew to Newcastle and we did. The gig was one. I couldn't do 2 nights because the following night I was playing with Chocolate Starfish in Melbourne. But this night was at Lazot's and played Lazot's, and it was great. And then I saw Jimmy watch me side of stage, and I just thought, what a, I can always have that in my life. I can always just say, "Oh, Jimmy," he at least saw me perform. And then I was watching side of stage, and at the end of the night, he was going on to do his encore, and he goes, "What of my songs do you know?" I said, "I know all of them." He goes, "Do you want to do When the War Is Over?" I said, "I'd love to." And we got up and we did When the War Is Over together. And that was my introduction to a relationship that's now lasted for 3 years.
Jesus, mate, that's a tough song to sing.
Hey, I'm still going. It's a big fucking song. Jesus.
But I'll give you an insight. I was actually, so let's say, I don't know, let's say Jimmy's ranges, let's go, the melodies, "Ain't Nobody," is about there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, all right, I'm just going to coast here because I'm a bit nervous. So I went, "Ain't nobody."
Yeah. You hit the
pretty low.
Yeah.
And Mahalia hits me on the shoulder and she goes, "Sing up."
Fuck.
Yeah, you had to do the high harmony.
So then I've done the high harmony because she's just stirring me up because she knows that I'm just wanting to coast and just enjoy the moment. She's like, "Not while you're on this stage."
No.
Right. You become
was Jackie drumming too? Was Jackie drumming too?
No, Jackie wasn't there that night. There was another drummer on that night, but
because he's a beast. He's a beast of a drummer.
Solid drummer, yeah.
Jackie's the sound of Jimmy, like he just has that same intensity as his dad. And this particular show,
sweet
and he's got a sweet voice too.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
He's got a beautiful, gentle voice, which you wouldn't anticipate him to have, but he's an incredible singer too. But
he looks like Genghis Khan. He's a fucking giant.
He's got the Fu Manchu.
Yeah, he's big, man. Big fella.
Yeah.
Imposing.
But that was my, but if there's any specifics that you want to know about touring with Jimmy, I'd be more than happy to divulge, because it's hard to say, how was it touring with him? Because there was just so many aspects of the great man. And, I've got all these like little side stories that you think the thing that's more impressive about him than him performing is him as a person.
Yeah,
he is just. Oh man, he's just.
He comes across as this real knockabout sort of a bloke, but obviously he's had some health challenges and he's lived his wild days. I'm presuming. So I'm presuming on tour with Jimmy now is potentially a lot tamer than what it would have been, 30 years ago. So is he health conscious? Is that all part of the vibes that you pick up from the Jimmy and the family?
Yeah, that's a good question. It definitely is, and I think he promotes longevity, and he promotes taking the job really seriously. And he knows how serious I am, and even so much so that on the first tour I did with him, my partner was pregnant at the time, and he said, if we do this again, which we will, make sure you bring the baby, because this tour is all about family. Like the grandkids are there, my kids are there, and he goes, I want you to bring the baby. Now, not many rock stars would say, bring your baby.
No way. Yeah.
My baby, our little girl, she's 7 months old. She was 6 months old when the first show was on, and she was side of stage at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. And Jimmy's coming in the room and he's touching her and touching her feet and, like coming in and just being his beautiful self. And he said at the end of the tour, thank you for bringing her, because I felt like it's brought so much joy and light into the tour.
Oh, wow.
Was it hard? Was it hard for her to do the merch in between when you were on?
She was the baby.
Baby, Barnes had the baby doing merch.
We were actually doing a duo. She was on the screaming.
So you're like a Barnes cover act. Yeah.
I come in with this nice, beautiful low harmony, and she come in with this really screechy, wailing harmony. It's good.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Because you've got that family sound, so it would have been really good.
It was great, and that's what I've always wanted. So I like to surround myself with like-minded people.
Taylor, we're here to talk about you though, not Jimmy Barnes.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think before we get to your new single stories, it's just the last one. I always want to talk about Troubadour, because I only listened to it for the first time today. I looked up Troubadour in. I had no idea what a Troubadour. I knew what a Troubadour was, but I looked it up in the Oxford Dictionary, and this is what it says. It says a Troubadour. It was a lyric poet who writes verse to music, especially on the themes of chivalry and courtly love. Do you think that describes what you do?
You know what? So how this came about was I'm a bit of a hybrid. As you can see, I'm a country boy. That's my aesthetic, and I'll always be a country boy. Do I sing that way? No. I have some undertones of soul music. That was what I was growing up on. And I felt like I've always been this melting pot of my influences.
Yep.
When I was going to make Troubadour, to make an album, because I was sick of being asked, and what sort of music do I play, or like what would you sort of what box are you in? And I was like, well, I don't know. I love country music, I love soul music, I love all sorts of music, but at the core of me is storytelling. But I didn't kind of know that in the moment yet. And I was backstage at a gig. I was doing a festival with Pete Murray, and one of the guys in the band come over to me and they said, "Oh, it's cool how you do the singer-songwriter thing, and your acoustic, it's kind of like you're a troubadour." Ooh. And I was like, I don't really know what a troubadour is, so I'm going to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
And on the definition that I saw, it's someone who puts stories to music with an acoustic guitar, and I thought, there it is.
Yeah.
And I just felt like what a beautiful way to be like, what sort of music do you play? I'm a troubadour. That's someone that stands there with an acoustic guitar and tells stories through their music, regardless of genre, right?
Yeah.
So I went to work. I wrote an album's worth of stories. I wrote a song called Troubadour. And in some ways, I thought if this is the only album I ever do, I want it to be this, because I don't, we release music, we release music to be current. We release music for all different reasons. That project was a legacy project. That was like, if my daughter wants to know what her dad was like when he was 30, that's what that album is. So it's like a photo booklet for her in years to come when she wants to know what I was like then.
Exactly. It lasts forever. That.
I am a troubadour. I stand here on my own. Take whatever comes my way and chew it to the bone. I play my songs on this 6 string. It's always been so clear. I wouldn't want to spend my time anywhere but here. When I was just a little boy, 3 or maybe 4, I sang around our small back garden, barely ever talked. My mom and dad said I was shy, maybe they were right. All I know is when I sang, that's when I came to life. I am a troubadour. I stand here on my own and take whatever comes my way and chew it to the bone. I play my songs on this 6 string. It's always been so clear. I wouldn't want to spend my time anywhere but here.
Daughter, letter to the future for your daughter. That's lovely.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah,
nice.
but I, the beautiful thing was it's very present. That album is very for that time.
Yeah.
And that's why there's songs like, about where I grew up, and Troubadour is about discovery, and there's songs like I Don't Dream of You Anymore, which is about my grandma passing away, and I didn't want to think too far into the future, and I just wanted to bookend that chapter of my life. So that's what Troubadour is to me, and I still, it's been over a year since I released Troubadour, but I'm still so deeply connected to that project, and I'm trying to wean myself off it because it was just it was amazing.
Yeah, I really like Hometown Love, and I love the Troubadour song itself. So, and you can, I was talking to Braggy off air, and I've got a concept called Sunday Session. So, man, you are Sunday Session written all over you. Just sitting there having a couple of cold beers and listening to your music. I think that'd be a good vibe.
No, that's nice. And I wanted Troubadour to be an album that you could drive around, because when I get an album that I love, I go and drive around the forest and I listen to lyrics and I pick out things, and that's what I want a Troubadour to be. I want a Troubadour to be like, you can look at it at so many different angles. So was it overthought? I'm going to say it was thought about just enough for it not to be, not to be contrived.
Yeah, you don't want to think too much.
Oh, that's how I roll. I'm the king of overthinking. So that's you're chatting to the wrong guy.
I know the type very well. Hey, I did say when I saw the clip for Hometown Love, I was watching it and it just reminded me very much of, like, it could have been straight out of that series Daryl's Place. Much of that?
Yeah.
Daryl Hall's house. He goes, he's got a wood room and he's got a band playing. Gave me the same sort of vibe. I was actually watching Vanessa Amorossi on it this week with Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics.
Yes, I saw that.
And like, man, but your room, the band playing in the room, it looked like a family. It looked very I dug it, man. It was really cool.
Oh,
Very,
thank
very
you.
cool.
I appreciate that. Well, that was just, that in itself was a crazy thing because I did a GoFundMe project for Troubadour.
Yeah.
So basically, I put in quite a lot of money to record it because, to be honest, I thought that this would be my only album because they are, especially as an independent, they're hard to make. And if you want to make a good one, especially the one that you think is going to stand the test of time, the dollar signs rack up. And I ended up doing a crowdfunding project, and I ended up getting quite a lot of money from the people that follow me. And one of the things that it allowed me to do was to do that session. So they were called the Avery sessions. So for it to be as wholesome as it was, it felt good because I was essentially spending people's belief in the form of money. So I'm glad it turned out well.
So you produced that one yourself, yeah?
I did. I co-produced. I wrote all the songs and I wanted to produce it myself. And then there was a guy called Dorian West. Dorian West is Tina Arena's music director. He does all the music for like all the shows. He's been in, he was in, he's in Boom Crash Opera for a while. He was in Colin Hayes' band for a while. He's just remarkable and he can play any instrument. And I ended up asking him to co-produce it with me because his knowledge of harmony was unbelievable. And if you listen to Troubadour, like I wish it could be more prominent, but you got to obviously think of the listener. But the harmonies alone on that album was worth having him, you know what I mean? But I mean he did, he wrote all the horn parts for
That's what I was going to say. He did the orchestration and some of those parts where there's strings and brass.
But lush
Don't
vocal harmonies.
Yeah, in Don't Ever Change, the brass and that's a really well crafted part. I'll tell you something. When that song, I was playing that song today in here, and my wife came in and she said, "Oh, is this who's on tonight?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, it sounds like the Bad Loves." So, does anyone? Your voice is very much like Mark Spivey. Is it? I can't remember his name.
Michael Spivey.
Michael Spivey. Yeah. Do you ever get? Have you had that before?
I've played with Michael a bunch of times, actually.
You guys have harmonised well together.
I've never had that comparison, but I remember first time I saw Bad Loves, I was playing with him in Bathurst, and they blew me away. And I remember I went up to him because their chord changes were so interesting.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's pretty cool that they can be so intricate and so soulful, and they're sort of considered a pop band. And I went up to him afterwards and I was like, you guys are amazing. And I remember, you probably just heard the mistakes. And I thought that was a very humble way of brushing off a compliment.
Yeah, no, I get that vibe off some of those songs on there too, especially what was the other one? There's one in 6/8, Go Easy on Me. That's kind of I love that. That was soul influence there.
That was my attempt at Georgia, Ray Charles, and and in the Ray Charles movie, they've got the massive studio and they've got the big orchestra. That was Go Easy on Me was my attempt at a Ray Charles standard, and you went all right. You went all right. Oh yeah, it was it's the one that sometimes I listen to it and I go, I don't know if we necessarily nailed it, but I mean I appreciate it.
No worries. So you got that soul influence, and that's really not, I wouldn't put that as country at all. I know there's country kind of soul or gospel and stuff. And so your new stuff that's going to, I'm assuming there's more than just one single that's going to come out.
Well, at this stage, I think I've been someone that's always attacked projects. And I've kind of manifested them in ways that I wanted to do them. When Stories came about, it came out quite organically, and it came out, before the Jimmy tour. It came out, just after I was a dad, and I just thought maybe I'm going to take that approach for a little while. So at the moment, I'm writing, but I'm definitely not recording. I'm just letting it do its thing and trying to let the universe come to me rather than me go to it, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of a good way. You put yourself under pressure if you think, I'm going to write an album or, yeah.
And it's so easy to think that, to write another Troubadour, because I would die to do another Troubadour. Like, it was the most incredible experience ever. But
Yeah.
like those songs, nothing about it was contrived. Like, it was so organic, so natural. And I think that's why I listen to it now, and I still love it, and I'm still so connected to it. And I kind of want to take that into the next part of whatever it is I do.
Okay.
And you changed. Stories was produced by M Squared.
Yeah.
So why the shift?
It's a good question. I think I was really crazy obsessive with Troubadour, and everything was, because I produced it. It was a lot to write it, produce it. It was a big undertaking. So I thought, with Stories, because Stories I felt like is an extension. Like, it could have been on Troubadour, and I thought, well, to make this interesting, I'm going to let someone produce me, and I'm going to see what they would do with my material, because I would just record it like I did with Troubadour, because I'm still in that world, but I didn't necessarily want to do something that sounded like it,
Yeah.
So I worked with guys that are very good at what they do, very commercial, and I just got to sort of step back a little bit and be a collaborator and a little bit of a spectator, which I enjoyed, funnily, because I'm a bit of a control freak and I actually enjoyed it.
With a good producer, though, it takes the pressure off you. You can actually focus on being the performer. So your performance surely can be better because you haven't got all that other stuff floating around your head all the time.
Yeah, and even just little things like vocally being produced. Like, when I produce myself, you're listening in more of a critical way. But when someone's producing your voice, they're like, "Oh no, that's a bit more flavor," or that's cool. I'll lean into that. Like, but I might be like, "Oh, that was a little bit. I could probably enunciate that better, or it's a bit husky there, or I could clean that up." But producers that aren't so attached to the song can be like, "Oh no, that's a cool color." So I appreciated that angle too.
So they're listening for the performance. When you you might go, "Oh, I missed something up there. I want to do it again." They'll go, "No, don't touch that, because that take was from the heart." So
and with Troubadour, there was not any ounce of programming, so it was all 100% organic. And this one was like 50-50.
Okay.
So it also challenged my ear as well, because I am such a naturalist, and I love records from, the 60s and 70s and 80s, but to make something current, it definitely tested me, but in a way that I was willing to be. I embraced it,
Yeah, I get you. It is very slick, Stories, but there's places to explore with that style of stuff, I would think.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like we're always continually trying to find what our thing is, or when you think you've landed on your thing, well, it changes, or and for Troubadour, what it taught me was I found my voice. I found the way that I like to articulate myself, and I like the way that I put a song together. So I'm just interested now to see like what production I can do moving forward, because that's what it's all about. It's about I like listening back to other people's discographies, and they're all different, and
absolutely
so I want hopefully one day someone gets up my Spotify and goes through my discog and goes, "Oh, that was crazy."
It's funny, like you listen to producers and their flavor, and we've discussed it many times before, but I've got a copy of Electric by the Cult before Rick Rubin did it. It was done by the guy who did Love, and he did all those songs for Electric. You listen to it and it sounds like Love, and then Rick Rubin gets his hands on it and it sounds like an entirely different beast altogether. And and I'm not sure the band had much control over what was going on. But sometimes you pay for someone who does what they do. You let them do what they do, because then you can just do what you do.
Yeah, totally. And not you've obviously got to be a fan of what you do.
Yeah.
But at the end of Troubadour, I was a little bit like tailored out. I was like, oh yeah, I know what I like. I know where I go. I know what chords I tend to go for. I know, like, I was a little bit like, oh, I know what chess move I'm going to make before I made it.
Yeah.
So with this project, it was nice to be like, oh, do you like this? I'm like, oh, I don't know yet. And I liked that. I mean, I obviously I love it because I released it and I love the process. But you know, when there are things that challenge you, it made me feel like it made me feel quite like a kid again, because I was like, oh, that's cool. Like this is challenging.
I've worked with acts, and I've sat in a control room as some producers been doing stuff and just like gone, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But when it comes together and that guy puts their special sauce on it, it becomes what it is. It's generally okay too, right?
And it's funny, I find my favorite records are usually records that I listened to the first time and went, whatever.
Not sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I love testing myself as a fan of music. Like, I like putting on records that
Me
like,
too.
what is it I'm missing that the artist wanted me to see? The artist dubbed this worthy. What am I missing? And then when you find it, it's like you're like, I get it. I get the universe that you were going for, and I love it now.
It's funny. I've got a young musician that I live with, and he says he listens to a lot of stuff because he goes, I don't know why I don't like it. So he forces himself to listen to it.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
But that's the other thing, Ross.
But I still don't like it.
Yeah, but that's the next thing for Taylor. I don't know how old's your daughter? She's only really young, I'm assuming.
7 months old.
7 months old. Okay, so
she's already to it already.
So she grows up like mine has, and then they start, and for the first 12 years, they like everything you like, but then they start bringing you stuff that they like, and you go, whoa.
Then you send them to their room.
That's a challenge. That opens up a whole other range of music then for you too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I really love being challenged as a listener. So I want it to be challenged as an artist too.
Yeah.
So when you write a song, who's your I think every artist has to have someone that they really trust. For me, it's my wife and my daughter. If I write something, I'll play it to them first, and that they will, without a doubt, be very honest with me. They'll say, that is fucking shit, Dad, or that. So that, that's. Although they'll go, it's all right, which I take as that means it's good. But so if you got someone in your life like that, Taylor, that someone whose ears you'll trust as far as songwriting goes, not as far as the sound of the album is.
I think my fiance is like, she's very nonchalant. So if there's something that I do that she likes, she'll usually just sit there and her eyes will just go.
That's good. That's what you want.
But I mean, I feel like I've got a pretty good, like when you show someone those 3.5 minutes, a really average song will make that 3.5 minutes seem a long time.
Yeah.
Good point.
But an audience is like instant feedback, no matter how big or small, right?
And if you're sitting in your room and you're going like, oh yeah, cool, and it's like, but I'll play something for it and I go, oh, that verse is too long, or like I'll self-produce as I'm playing it for someone else.
Yeah.
And then, but like it's like the way that I think of a good song, it plays itself. Like if you play, let's say Fire and Rain by James Taylor.
Yeah.
Every second of that song is worthy of being on that, and it feels like the quickest 3.5 minutes of your life, and it just plays like an open book, Yeah,
from the intro, you're in from the intro.
As an aside, have you seen the documentary The Immediate Family?
No, I have not.
It's on YouTube, and it's James Taylor's band with Carole King in it. And then, and then they go and record Tapestry with Carole King, and then it goes through the whole history of those four guys as their session career.
Wow.
Look on YouTube. It's called The Immediate Family. Ross Kunkel and What He Watched Tell and all that sort of stuff. It is fantastic. Yeah, you'll love it.
Right now.
Because apparently James Taylor was playing one night, and he goes, Oh, Carol, our piano player, she writes songs too. You get up and sing a couple, Carol. So she
what's that-
came out,
What was it called again?
The Immediate Family.
The Immediate Family.
And Carol King goes, they go,
I'm
"Carol,
writing it
you get
down
up and
too,
sing a
Rossi."
few songs. You come up and sing a few songs, Carol. So she's come out and just knocked it out of the park. And within a couple of weeks in there recording Tapestry.
Wow.
What's that streaming on? What's that streaming on, Rossi?
So you can find it on YouTube. I saw it on YouTube last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's really worth it. You'll
Taylor,
love it, Taylor. You'll love it.
So now that we've gotten through the streaming recommendations, which is such a feature of the podcast, Taylor, with stories, right? To me, I sort of look at it, it's a bit of an ode to you as the storyteller, but it's all based on your stories, correct? Have I got that right?
Yeah. So the first verse is a representation of the past.
Yeah.
The second verse is a representation of the present.
Yeah.
And the bridge is a representation of the future.
That's
Gotcha.
Oh.
Yeah. Because not knowing if you're going to graduate high school, when I heard that line, I for whatever reason, Braggy, I thought of you, right? So
I graduated high school.
no, I know that, but it was the concept of I'd rather have a guitar in my hand than like school books, right? Which was the story around it. And yeah, you sprung immediately to mind.
Thank you. Yeah.
I never thought I'd ever make my graduation. Skip school so I could learn guitar. One teacher said she knew she could have helped me too. Change my attendance so I'd pass. Spent more than I've ever earned. Made mistakes, lessons learned. Let the fire burn. If there's anything life taught me, we're made of our stories. That no amount of time will fade away. Someday I know this will all be one hell of a story. When looking back, there's nothing I would change. All we have are our stories. All we have are our stories.
But I went to school at a time where, you know, you had to do that shit, and that there was no sort of. He's slightly different. Maybe we should teach him this way or show him that.
I reckon 20% of the guys I went to school with wanted to be in a rock band when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I wanted
to get girls.
I wanted to be in one. I just had no discipline to learn a musical instrument. So
I think Braggy, you know that's the point for everybody.
Yes, I know that. Worked out all right for me.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your band. So did the guys that we see you playing with, were they on the Troubadour album, some of those guys, or?
Yeah, so the drummer, Danny Ferrugia, he's in the Cat Empire. He plays
I know that
as well.
Name. Yep.
Yeah. Ben Edgar, who is he's on guitar. He's a singer with his fretwork, and he plays on. He was on the Gautier record. Somebody I used to know. And then we had Dorian West, who's just incredible. He was on bass, and if you listen to those bass lines on that album, it's like Paul McCartney. He's just he's so lyrical and melodic. And we did those tracks live. So all those foundations, we did them in a room with the four of us standing around together, and we do 4 or 5 takes.
Yep.
We did it in 3 days, and
pick the best one.
Pick the best one, and then we would overdub with whether it be strings or guitar solos or So it was like very much the old school way of making a record, and I just wanted to try at least once.
Yeah. Instead of comping your vocal lines,
Yeah.
Well, if I'm to be brutally honest with you guys, we're all mates now, so I can say this, but I know Paul McCartney did this, so I didn't feel quite as bad. I woke up and for some reason, I deemed the whole album was out of tune.
Oh no!
No.
And I was like, and my vocal, I just thought the whole thing was out. Everything was flat. Everything was sharp, and I just freaked out. And I called the engineer and I just said, we need to. And I said to him, we're not doing any auto tune on this album. Like, that's not what this album is. And he said to me, and I said, we have to auto tune it. Like, this is bad. And he was like, it's not out of tune. I said, it is out of tune. And I'm going to send you notes exactly where they're out of tune. And I've got my pitch is pretty good. So
Not out of tune, Taylor.
So I went and I corrected the whole album. The whole album. But I went hard and I told him to auto tune
Everything.
probably everything, pretty much. Yeah. And I sat with him for a week and he said, look, it sounds like you're a bit burnt out. Like you're too close now. I want you to have 2 weeks of not listening to this album.
Yeah.
And
that's a good question.
And then 2 weeks later, I listened to the album and I went, yeah, take it all off.
Right.
But that's the anxiety and the pressure.
Yeah.
That's the anxiety and the pressure. Absolutely. It's not fair. Don't do it to yourself, Taylor.
When you buy a car, when you buy a house, when you buy something, you buy it to be in the best condition it can be. Like a car with a scratch on it, that's imperfect. That's not okay.
Yeah.
It deducts the quality.
It does.
Now, with something artistic, is an imperfection, does that deduct the quality? In my opinion, in that moment, it did.
But Taylor, what about, you said, when you recorded it, you did, you had the drums, bass, guitar, and you did the backing tracks sort of first, and you did 5 takes. So you did those 5 takes in the day or whatever, and then you sit back at night, I'm assuming, afterwards that, and you listen to them back and you pick the best one. Do you pick the best one do you pick the one with the least mistakes in it, or do you pick the one that's got the best feel in it? And there's a couple of mistakes, you just, because no one's going to pick that up except you.
And you know what? I love the mistakes now.
Good.
Yes, exactly.
When I hear the mistakes now, because I and I was going through a massive Beatle phase at that point, and that was probably one of the reasons I really wanted to do a live record. Was I dived so heavy into, especially the way that Let It Be was made, and I just
started. I'm a Beatles freak. Don't start me.
All these, I'm on the other end of kind of my. I went through a bit of a deep dive. No, I went through a bit of a deep dive of all the Beatles, all their solo albums.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, I ended up getting to this point where I was like, I love imperfections on other people's records, because I think how brave that you left that imperfection that ends up being a kind of a weird hook in itself.
Yeah.
And my missus said to me, she goes, you love when you hear mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you embracing your own? And I was like, you're 100% right. So, and now the mistakes, I anticipate them, and it gives me like a little dopamine hit because I got to be brave through it. And look, no one else would know. Like, no one else would go, that's not a mistake. They go, that's just a,
feature. It's a feature.
But it felt. I feel brave that I accepted those.
So Rossi, I don't know if you know this, or Curly, but if you listen to, you'll go and listen to it after this if you haven't. If you go and listen to the Beatles' first album, the song "Please Please Me," which is kind of their first hit with "Love Me Do," and McCartney and Lennon harmonize all the way through the verses. Last night I said these words to my. There's one verse where they sing the wrong words. They don't. McCartney's singing something and Lennon's singing the other thing. So go have a listen to that. I'm not sure it's the first and second verse. But you won't economic. Once you hear it, you won't unhear it.
That's economic and time constraints.
Well, they made it in a day, didn't they? So
yeah, they did. And like the guy in the control booth goes, "Yeah, close enough. Move on next."
Yeah, it's George.
Oh, close enough, fellas. Move on next.
I'm glad, Taylor, you watched the Let It Be thing, because that it's really my mind, that thing.
Yeah,
watching songs just appear, watching Get Back just be born.
I even love that Ron Howard Beatles film. I reckon that's a ripper too.
That's good. Yeah. Sorry, Curly.
Sorry,
No, that's
Curly.
all right. I'm just looking at starting to wind down, I guess. But it's not every day I look at someone's upcoming gigs, and you've got things like Palais Theatre with Jimmy. We've got Fortitude Valley Musical with Jimmy. We got the State Theatre in Sydney with Jimmy. And
What a
and
room that
whatnot.
is. That's a great room.
But you are playing Moonshine. Oh no, you played Moonshiners at Tamworth. What was that like?
I unfortunately ended up getting influenza,
Oh no!
and it was the first weekend I've ever cancelled, and it absolutely killed me. So that would have been my first time in Tamworth, and I unfortunately couldn't do it. And that's the thing. It's like the week before, and that's just the music industry, but it's also just a representation of life too. Like the week before, I was playing with Jimmy. I was feeling $1 million. You know, I was on the biggest tour in Australia probably at the time. And the following week, I'm having to cancel 3 shows because I can't get out of bed. And you think isn't that just a beautiful way of life? Of like, you think you think you're kicking ass. Well, you're not going to be kicking ass for long. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
Every time you think you got it sorted out, someone will sort you right out.
It's got a way of just keeping us humble, doesn't it? So
Totally. And we're all in like the gig with Jimmy and the gig at Tamworth and the gig down at my local pub. Essentially, they all do mean the same thing.
yeah.
So, it is a great way of being like, you can't get your ego too out of check with, if you think you're opening for Jimmy and you think, you've kicked ass or whatever. That's actually not reality. The reality is, you only get with what life gives you, and sometimes it gives you influenza, and sometimes it gives you the State Theatre.
And so Jimmy's crowd is like old crusty guys like us. I'm assuming most of them would be, and they've been accepting.
You know what? Going out onto that stage with an acoustic guitar, when those people want to hear the songs that they are instilled in them,
Part of their life.
I knew I was going to war every night. I knew, okay, you guys don't want to see me. You guys want this to hurry up so you can get to the good part.
Yeah.
So I had to really pull out the big guns, and that's not necessarily, trying to hit the biggest notes, or that's just trying to connect on like, a personal level. That's where the storytelling comes out.
Yeah.
And, every time I'd say, this is my last song, and the whole crowd would go, oh, and I'd go, great, I've done my job. And Jimmy actually corrects me and he said, opening for me is difficult because they want those songs. He goes, even playing new songs for me is hard because I know what they want.
Yeah. Of course. Even harder.
And he said, but you've done it just as efficiently as anyone that's opened for me. And I thought,
wow.
I'll take that.
But I guess though, you getting up there with an acoustic guitar just by yourself, most of Jimmy's guys are going, fuck, this guy's got some fucking balls, getting up, which is what Jimmy's crowd would be like, they'd appreciate that,
I think so. I think
it's the battler.
People are people. You can't bluff. Doesn't matter if they're. I'm not going to call you a crusty because I don't think you're crusties at all. But
I'm a senior, mate.
You can't bluff people. Like if it's good, it's good, and that's what I'm. When I watch music, I'm not looking for a genre. I'm looking to be moved, and that's the way that I think if you can do that to a crowd, whether Taylor Sheridan and Jimmy Barnes, on paper that doesn't work. On the night, it was perfect.
Awesome.
Absolutely. So last question from me. It's fascinating when I look at this Dion Warwick and Glattus Knight. So how did that come
of that?
That's I'll show you this.
Cool. Show and tell. I love show and tell.
I love that.
So I'll tell you the story first. So I got a call on the Saturday to open for Gladys on the Tuesday. So I didn't have that much time to think about it, which was good. And I rocked up to the venue, and the promoter come up to me and he said, look, I called your agent, he recommended you. I'm doing it as a favor. Just try and enjoy yourself. which I think is a kind of roundabout way of saying you're probably not my first choice,
yeah.
but just
Do it anyway.
Try and do the best you can, you know. And here I am rocking up with the country boy hat, you know. It's just like this probably isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Little did he know, I was very, very familiar with Glattus Knight being of the style of music that I grew up on. So I knew what would work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ended up being amazing. And, you know, and just being like, you know, I wasn't, you know, I didn't get to chat to her or anything like that, but I got to stand side of stage. I got to, you know, just to be in that orbit for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Afterwards, the promoter came up to me laughing, and he's like, "You took me by surprise, young fella."
Oh,
It's great. And he goes, "I've got Dion Warwick coming out, and I would love for you to open for her too."
Hey! Hey!
Can't stop winning, fella.
And I went, "Great." Anyway, 12 months came and gone, and I didn't hear anything. And similar thing, got a call a couple of days before the gig. "Hey, can you open for Dionne in Melbourne and Canberra?"
Yep.
I thought, I can do that. So did Melbourne, and I didn't get to. I didn't stick around in Melbourne because Mabel was just born. So I thought, I'll go and, you know, I've got to go and, you know, be dad. But the next night I was in Canberra, and I was backstage, and the promoter comes up to me and he goes, "The team heard you last night. They're all American, and like they were very impressed. Would you like to meet Dionne tonight?" Wow. And I said, "I'd love to. I'd be honoured." And I did my set, and I remember I was in the main room where everyone was, you know, sitting, and the American guy who was the merch guy, he came up to me and he said, "Oh, do you want something signed tonight?" Or
Yep.
I said, "Oh, I'd love a poster." And he's like, "Well, what I want you to do is I want you to write your name on the poster, say who you are, and then I want you to go and put it in her dressing room." I thought, that's hilarious. My writing is horrendous. So the fact that Dion Warwick has seen my handwriting is hilarious.
That's what you're worried about?
So I put it on top of these posters, and then after the gig, we're all sitting out, and, you know, they're all these American guys, and we're all eating barbecue, and we're all in the room together. And she walks in kind of like a dressing gown after the gig, and I'm like, wow. And the promoter comes over and he goes, "Oh, Dee, this is Taylor. Taylor, this is Dee. You know, Taylor's your support act tonight." And she goes, "Oh, you know, what did you think?" And I said, "Yeah, I loved it. You know, have you enjoyed the shows in Australia?" And she's like, "Yeah. Are you using that butter knife?" I said, "No." And anyway, so I handed her the butter knife, and she took it away from me. And then she sat down, and then we started watching Novak Djokovic on the TV screen. And we're all talking away, and she looked a little like she looked tired. And I was like, if I'm going to get a photo, it's got to be now.
Yeah.
And the moment was there, and I was like, nah, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right. I don't want to intrude on that moment. I got to meet her, whatever.
Yeah.
And she left, and I was kind of kicking myself, and I went back into the dressing room, and this was on the table. To Taylor, Dionne.
Oh,
man, what a fucking, that's awesome, man.
That's great.
You'll have that for your life. That's great.
That's great. What a woman.
What a singer.
And I just thought, yeah, that's more. I'm glad I listened to my instincts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But watching the tennis, giving her a butter knife, it just shows she's a human being, man. She's a human being.
Yeah, that's right. So
we forget how human these people are. They have normal lives too, right?
Totally. And and that's the thing. It's like, you know, and like I would love to be like, you know, she sang on, you know, That's What Friends Are For with Stevie and Whitney and, you know, Luther Vandross, and, you know, she's this giant, and she's asking this guy from country Victoria for a butter knife.
That's
right.
So cool.
I love that. I love that, man. That's exactly right. I got it.
So Taylor, you've been to Tamworth. Is that part of your thing? And more importantly, having a Christian name, the same as one of the biggest stars that ever come out of Nashville. Are you thinking about
Taylor S. Actually,
well, there's actually a Taylor Sheridan who also wrote Yellowstone.
Directed
Yellowstone.
Yeah, we don't
So
like
look, I I've definitely got some competition. Let's put it that way for Google.
Yeah, got to come up with a strategy.
Yeah, I'll just got to write some more Troubadours, and I'll be laughing.
Absolutely. All right. So, what gigs are you looking forward to in the coming months?
So I've got a gig in Coffs Harbour at the Hoey Moe, which
Hey,
is
the Hoey!
yeah, come if you're around, come. I'll put you on the door. Yeah, I'm really pumped for that one. I've got a really great gig. There's an amazing musician. If you get the chance to listen to her, you should. Her name is Kathleen Halloran, and she's opening for Kate Sobrano at the moment on her national tour. And she's a guitar player that is going to revolutionise the way that people look at female guitar players in this country. She is absolutely amazing. We're doing a headline show in Canberra together at Talagandra Hill Winery.
What's her name?
Her name is Kathleen Halloran.
With a K or a C?
With a K. And she's, she's just, if you had to ask me who I think's going to pop next, I would put my money on her. So,
okay.
Yeah, there's some gigs that I'm really looking forward to. And we've got like a bunch more touring to do as well. But, they're ones that I'm just kind of, I've played as maybe as a support act, or like I'm familiar with the venues, and I'm just looking forward to, playing my own show and seeing what happens.
Keep doing it, mate.
Absolutely. What's your the best social media platform for you for if people want to follow you?
Yeah, I'm on all of them. So like definitely Facebook and Instagram is kind of my favorites, and I'm pretty active, and I'm just someone that's very accessible, because I just think if someone reaches out to me, the least I can do is reply and reach out back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor, it's been absolutely awesome getting to know you a little bit more tonight. Your music certainly resonated with me. If I'm going to sit down with a cold beer on a Sunday, the Troubadour album may just be the album that goes on. So,
Taylor, you made the Sunday session playlist. It's been
absolutely.
a long time since someone's made that.
Yeah.
Braggy does. Curly does not give that away lightly.
No.
We will make sure we add some of your songs to our playlist, the Unfiltered, Undiscovered Every Damn Song playlist, where we add every song that we've ever talked about. So next week's show, and we'll have your links in the show notes, of course, so that people can check you out. So next week, Sarah Catania is our guest. Her songwriting captures complex emotions and uncertainty of navigating life in your 20s. So, guys, I don't know how old we feel sometimes when we talk to such young, up-and-coming artists, but tell you what, it keeps us young, doesn't it? So, absolutely. Anyway, if you've loved what you've heard, hit follow, share the show, and dig deeper on our Spotify playlist. I mean, once again, all those links will be in our show notes. More artists, more stories, and more reasons to listen. Thanks for tuning in to Unfiltered, Undiscovered. We will see you all again next week. Thanks again, Taylor. Awesome meeting you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the chat.
No worries.
This little town will never change. The streets remind us of our glory days. We always said